cedar tree sapling. Just down you can see the one with the large flat leaves. Now, they were all chopped down on the east coast of Australia. They were all gone by the 1930s, and then I looked down there and there's actually one coming back again. So it's interesting we have an impact on the environment, but if you stop doing it, it'll come back.
One of the reasons that I came to work here is because of their view on the environment. Working at Interface, they have the similar mindset to what I do in the future. They want to reduce their carbon footprint, become regenerative, and that's what we do at home.
I feel good about doing work. I'm not just making carpet, which isn't the be-all and end-all for me. I'm making carpet for a company that has a conscience about how they make carpet and what their impact of making carpet is going to be in 100 years' time.
They're looking at tomorrow. They're looking at future generations, and I think that's a wonderful thing.
My knowledge in sustainability has just gone through the roof. It's awesome what you can learn in a couple of years.
I probably used to think about sustainability more when I first started here 5 years ago than I do now. And it's not to say that I don't think about sustainability now, I just think it comes more naturally. I think I had to make myself think about it when I first started here, and Interface has taught me a lot.
Like, I didn't know what sustainability was till I came here.
It's amazing. Never worked at a place that actually concerned about the environment.
Left my previous job, took a year off. A lot of discussion at the time were around sustainability, and I decided, well, that's what's missing. So I started doing a bit of research on that, and I said, okay, when I go back into an operations role, I want to go into an organisation that's serious about sustainability. One of the first consultants I met said, oh, I know a company that is quite keen on sustainability.
What I found refreshing with Interface was that it was a moral obligation. It was the right thing to do. And for me, that was what I was looking for. The company did it because they wanted to, not because they had to.
I'm a Sparky in the Interface plant at Picton, and being an electrician sort of puts you right there in the ballpark for being on the ground and trying to improve those efficiencies. Ethical disposal of old lamps has been an issue here for quite some time because we've got literally hundreds of light fittings. We've been running the lamp process for about 18 months to 2 years now. We've only been running the battery process for about 6 months, and I think I've sent back about 8 buckets worth of batteries. Like I said, I always feel pretty safe doing this sort of stuff. Occasionally you might get a kick in the butt, but I figure it's worth it.
The essence of Mission Zero is obviously to I'd like to be able to sort of give back to the earth, I guess, in terms of restorative, okay, but regenerative as well, and I think that's sort of how I'd like to view it, or how I do view it actually.
It's part of our DNA. It's just what we believe in. It's our culture, and I guess that's what makes us a little bit different to all our competitors.
Sustainability is a business strategy, because ultimately only those that can produce in a sustainable manner will be left manufacturing. Those that use all the lowest cost options which are not sustainable will not be in business in 20 years' time. That's my belief anyway.
I think it's about showing people what's possible, and it's part of that Mission Zero journey. Part of that is to be restorative, not only within your own immediate circle of influence, but within the surrounding businesses and the broader business community, up and down in your supply chain.
Even though we're in finance and a lot of the initiatives happen in the manufacturing area, the task is very much to engage the finance staff and some of the exciting things that are actually going on in the business, so that you don't just focus on the numbers, but that you can actually have a conversation with people in the factory about the initiatives, and also just generally to make sure that as a community we're involved in it, and it touches our lives and touches the people we work with.
In through there's a little bit of a clearing beyond. It's not much of a creek, but it's our creek. These people in the local community work here at Interface. We are part of the community. We have a riverbank that runs parallel to our factory here, and we have a volunteer team going out, and we're going to start the restoration project of Redback Creek. I suppose removing this fence does two things. Stops people falling over it, and officially declares the creek open.
I'm just recycling some wheelie bins so we can put them back into the system so they can recover yarn in them. Oh, well, I think to me Mission Zero just means basically doing the right thing by our waste and trying to recycle stuff back into our own projects if we can. Come on through. This is my barbecue shed. It's going to be called Gary's Ring of Fire. Basically, it all started, the framework for the barbecue shed come from the boxing that was sent from our new latex line when it came over from America. The base of the barbecue is Besser blocks that I recovered from the walls actually out of Interface in Picton. This flap door come from a big gas heater that we had down in Picton, and as soon as I seen it and we decided that we were going to strap it, I salvaged it and thought, well, that'd be a good use. The tank actually come from Interface too, and when we got the new unit they didn't need it anymore, so yeah, I decided I'd recycle it to harvest my own water. I've always known that everything's always got a second use, and the only reason why things are thrown out is because people can't think of a second use for them.
We want anything that goes out of this plant to be usable to a customer or to be inert. So what we're trying to do is reduce the footprint of the waste that goes out of this plant. By doing that, we're adding value to our product and adding value to our customers.
The company's journey is that we're not taking anything out of the ground that can't be reused or can't be regenerated.
This table, that table. And we've got another one in there, yeah. I went for a phase of making them out of old wooden pallets from work. We'd get the wood from work, bring it home, and make them into tables.
It was a project that was run here, and they said to us to use the old waste products that we had here. So this is made out of the strapping off the pallet wraps. This one here is made out of the offcut off the tile. It's a mouse pad.
We have a lot of excess when we have to cut jobs off. 2, 3 metres, 4 metres of carpet usually goes in the bin. So I was sitting there, I thought, well, I'll fold that up and sew it together, and I stuffed it with the excess yarn, and yeah, I made a dog bed, and my dogs loved it.
I think there's a lot of different understandings of what Mission Zero actually is within the business. I think they have the determination to do it, without a doubt, and the belief that they can do it. I don't know that it will actually happen. But I think sometimes the belief and the determination is enough, even if it doesn't happen.
We'll come close to it. It's a big ask to have no impact. I honestly think that, but I think if we can have almost no impact, well, that's better than a massive impact. You know, we're still ahead.
Take the bull by the horns and let's run with it. If we fall over on the way, okay, just get up, dust yourself off and move on to the next project. You know, without taking those sorts of risks, I'm not sure that we will get there by 2020.
I think it goes back to our founder, Ray Anderson, and the insights that he had and the way he was able to articulate that to all of us and influence us and bring us on board.
And I think it's part of the reason why that we're here working with Interface. We've taken that legacy on ourselves.
I know what it's all about, but trying to put it in practice here is very hard. Because someone will do it and the next person will say, no, we'll stuff you, I'm not doing that. And the next person say, yeah, I'll do it, or whatever.
Some individuals, you could say, they're a bit lax. They've been there, as far as production goes anyway. They couldn't be bothered to throw it in there, you know what I mean? But all in all, we do try.
With any big organisation, to get everyone pulling in the one direction, that's, I think, probably the toughest thing. Technically, I think it's possible to do it.
I had one guy come to me the other day and said, it's so hard to get everybody to fall in line with this Mission Zero. And I said, why is it? Don't you put your plastics in the plastic bin and your rubbish in the rubbish bin? He said, yeah. And I said, well, you're already doing it. I said, just bring it to work. Same difference, isn't it?
It's a big challenge. If there's anything an engineer likes, it's a challenge. And everything that we do is very much focused on sustainability.
We used to have a gate up on this mezzanine level. It was a sliding gate. And our forklifts used to have to drive down a forklift aisleway and then through the factory into here to try to load boxes up onto the grill platform. So one of the leading hands one day, he just looked at it from a different perspective and said, what if we just move the gate from here to over on the other side, which lines up with our forklift, the original forklift aisleway. And what it's done, just with that simple change, now we don't have any forklift traffic around through this part of the factory. So we've all but eliminated any forklifts coming through here. So it's safer for people. We have less forklift fuel consumption. So it's been a lot of wins just with a very simple idea.
I think it's more of a lifestyle, you know, like what we do. I suppose it's probably a lot easier if we make it a lifestyle and not what we have to do.
It's like putting your seatbelt on. You never used to wear a seatbelt. Now you put it on without thinking. It's become a second nature. I've always sort of been in self-sufficiency, so we tried and produced a little bit of our own food and things like that. Then the job came up at Interface. I went and worked there, and I thought, well, this company's really fair income about sustainability. And that sort of bred back through the property, got me more interested and started thinking about how can I do this without bringing things inside, how can I start to look after the land better and make it sustainable for the future. Once we got the original cow and the original chooks, that's basically it. We just keep on going and regenerating and feeding back into the property more than what we take out.
Interface carpet in the doghouse.
Yeah, it survives the dog, and that's probably been in there a year now. What we try and do is fertilise the vegetable patch with the cow manure, and then the water and nutrients run down through the ground and feed the fruit tree. So it's sort of a cycle that continues. Plum tree here, and a couple of apple trees over there. We'll make apricot jam out of those. And there's a kumquat tree. They're quite nice. You should grab one of those. We've probably got enough trees here to more than replace the amount of carbon that we put into the atmosphere for our family. So that's a good feeling as well. Zero impact, I think it's to inspire people to do the right thing by the environment. One company on its own is not going to do a great deal. It may manufacture cheaper and more efficiently by doing it, which you wouldn't think so, but you do end up wasting less, so therefore it costs you less. But regenerative in a way that if more and more people start to see what you're doing, more and more people will start to do it. Eventually, if the majority of the world catches on, then the world will be saved for many, many future generations. If we keep on going down the track we are now, it may not be so good.
Amazing how far that message goes and into what contexts, places that you wouldn't necessarily think. It's not just manufacturing industry or perhaps the green movement, but it's also finding its way into ethics and school curriculums and the like.
I've never lived anywhere where I can walk the streets and I know, in every house I see, I know who lives there. I might not know them all personally, but we know the faces, and just being part of that community I think is part of the Mission Zero. Volunteering for things in the community, it's rewarding, you feel you get a lot more out of it. My main motivation was to get involved and do something for the community, and also to learn a new skill. And also there's a bit of the boyhood thing to drive a fire truck. It's cool. I do quite enjoy it. Sunday afternoons, it's great.
What I've learnt about sustainability is, even through the little things, like putting trash in the right bins, paper in paper, plastic in plastic, like it all counts in the end, Hopefully through encouraging the people that work here, it'll sort of branch off, and we can encourage others to sort of follow suit on what we're doing.
And if we don't make it by 2020, look what we've achieved anyway, and we just keep going. So we make it in 2021, 2025. It doesn't really matter the year, it's the fact that you're on the journey and you're going to get there, and you're not going to stop until you get there.
Isn't it fantastic that the best business model that we can come up with is one that says that you should do the right thing? And that's what we have here at Interface.
Everyone's actually thinking of the future and thinking of something that they can do and not worried just about the money side of it. They actually care and want to make a difference, which I think is brilliant for such a big company.
Simple things like going to the zoo. If we keep on the way things were, the zoo's not going to be there because the animals aren't going to be there, you know what I mean? And I want my grandkids to be able to do the same stuff we do. I want them to be able to go to the sink and turn on a tap and have water. You just take for granted that it's always going to be there, but it's not. So now I think a lot more about that.
I'm very proud to work for Interface. I guess I could have worked a lot of other places with my skills. I've always been comfortable with the ethical position here, particularly on sustainability. I'd like to think it's something that'll be with me for the rest of my life. I think it's a very important issue. And even if I was not working for Interface in 2 weeks' time, I'd be very proud of having had the experience.